Hi, I'm Brad Beaton, owner of Atlanta Kilts and Atlanta Bagpiper. I'm here at the Kilt Academy of Music and Arts, and recently I made a video about how to tune a bagpipe, the full picture, or the big picture. And I'd like to go into a little more detail. It says here that one of the most foundational parts of playing a tuned bagpipe is keeping constant pressure in the bag. How do you do that? Well, in that video, I also said that when people ask me if it's difficult to play the bagpipes, I tell them there's a lot to it. And part of that is tuning. Here's another part of it. It's bagpipe maintenance. How do you keep constant pressure in the bag? In the first place, to keep constant pressure in the bag, keeping the bagpipe running has got to be within your capability. And there's many parts that go into it. Is your bag leaking air? That's a very important question. How can you know? You can know by taking your drones out of the stocks and putting corks in, and putting a cork in the Chanter stock and just leaving your blowpipe in and blowing it up as tight as you can get it. And here's the question. How long does it take for that bagpipe to lose enough air to cost you another breath? How many breaths are you having to give for just the bag? Not even counting the drones, not even counting playing the pipes. That's a very important question. And I would suggest that the bag should not cost you a breath for at least 2 minutes, if not more. If the bag is costing you a breath less than every minute, you need to change that bag. Think about it. That's a whole breath. And if that bag is costing you a breath every minute, then you're already behind the 8 ball. You're already in trouble. So step one is, do you have a tight bag? Step one, and you can check that. I just told you how. Step two, are your reeds efficient? Like, are your drone reeds efficient? And one of the ways to adjust for that is to adjust the bridle on the drone reeds to make them take less air. Now, as you do that, and as you make the tongue shorter, you're also going to sharpen up the drone. And so it's going to want to tune out further to compensate for the sharper pitch in the drone reed. So those are adjustments that you can play with, you can work on to make your bagpipe as air efficient as possible, right? And of course, your chanter reed, how hard is that chanter reed to blow? You can get easy ones, very easy ones. You can get very hard ones. When I was 19 years old, my pipe major gave me a reed that was so hard to play that I actually popped a lung. I had a spontaneous pneumothorax playing the bagpipes. He gave me such a hard reed, and I really didn't know at that age how to adjust and work with reeds. So like I say, there's a lot to playing bagpipes. Maintenance. How do you maintain the bag? How do you work with the reeds? How do you adjust them so that they don't take more air than you can comfortably keep a constant pressure in the bag? Those are factors, the bag, the reeds. Here's another factor, huge. I can make a video just about this. Breathing, proper breathing for bagpipe playing. And you can talk to singers, you can talk to brass players, and everybody will tell you about diaphragm breathing. And with my students, what I do is I have them lay on the floor and I put a really heavy book on their stomach. And as they breathe, that book should rise, because as the diaphragm goes down and pulls air to the bottom of the lungs, your belly's going to come out. And if you just put your hands here and breathe in, that's your diaphragm. I've sung in some very good choirs. One of the exercises that we do at Griffin Choral Arts almost every time is the choir director has us do this exercise, which is very good for piping and for keeping constant pressure in the bag. And it goes like this. You breathe in through your diaphragm and up to the top. As long as you can. Just a constant pressure coming out of your mouth. And that's what singers rely on. That's what brass players rely on. And that's what bagpipers rely on. If you only breathe from the top of your chest, you will pass out. Okay? You'll pass out. You've got to get that deep breath from the bottom, starts at the bottom, and fill it all the way to the top. And then breathe it slowly. Why does that help you? It helps you keep a constant pressure in the bag because the pressure you're putting is constant. Now, when you take a breath, if your bag's not really tight, full of air, you might have to use a little bit more arm when you take a breath. And you'll hear it. You'll hear it with your ears. And so that's part of learning to keep constant pressure in the bag, is training your ear to hear when the tuning varies. And training your arm to know, oh, the pressure's going down. I need to compensate for it. So those are kind of the main points of keeping constant pressure in the bag. And the best thing you can do is to keep that bag pretty full almost all the time, so that even when you take a breath, there's enough elasticity in the bag that the pressure, it's kind of like a spring, right? The bag will provide some pressure, and your arm can too. But the best thing for keeping constant pressure in the bag is keeping that bag really pretty full. So those are some of my observations and experiences, and I look forward to talking more about some of these points. Thank you very much.